some color commentary here, but I think the answer is, I mean, certainly there's always risk, but in reality is if you're doing it correctly, if you're integrated your technology correctly, and you're tracking your analytics correctly, then you're watching where you are actually causing problems, or if something might become a problem, you can start testing it. We consistently see many times nonprofits thinking they're at risk of oversaturating an audience, and when we test it, we almost invariably prove that they're not. Jen mentioned this a little bit yesterday in her aspect of if you go and ask a donor, you want to get less appeals, they'll all say yes, but their behavior is the opposite. The more appeals, the better things work, the more informed they are, the more often they give. So it's always a risk, but I think for me, as long as you're tracking, testing, analyzing, segmenting correctly, and you're ultimately looking for how do you add the best value for that donor, back to what we talked about of where they are in life stage, what they're going through in terms of their psychological connection to the audience, to your mission, to your cause, and you're tracking and testing along the way, then you shouldn't see that as a problem. Jen, do you want to add some additional thoughts there?
Sure. You basically took many of the words right out of my mouth. I really think that you really start with your data. Look at your data. What is the data telling you in terms of where you might have some issues or some problems? And totally agree with you, Chris. I think most organizations tend to feel like, oh, God, we're oversaturating, we're sending too much stuff, people are upset. And then when you actually get down to looking at the data or doing the testing, as Chris mentioned, that almost is never the case. The other thing is that I think if you're doing the good relationship building and you're really paying attention and listening to your donors and supporters, then volume isn't really the issue, right? It's more that you're providing relevant, interesting